Hey everyone, it's Grant, your friendly neighborhood vibe coder. If you don't know me or haven't watched any of my videos before, I want to give you a little bit of background to put this video in somewhat of a context for you. By day, I'm a senior director working at a company called Red Hat. We are a enterprise Linux and enterprise Kubernetes company. I work on a team called Red Hat AI, and I get to work on some of the latest and greatest cool things in the AI space. Now, my day job consists mostly going to meetings, but I used to be a principal software engineer at Red Hat and other companies. But realistically, I haven't coded full time in probably 10 years or so as I moved into management. And I had some time today in between meetings, and I wanted to try out something that excited me more than anything I've seen in a long time. And that is Claude Code and the new release of Claude 3.7. And I wanted to show you how you can actually use vibe coding and how efficient it is and how much it actually costs. So I loaded my Anthropic account up with $25. I installed Claude Code with this simple command right here, just a npm install. And now we're going to start using it. Now, in full disclosure, I have already ran Claude Code because you have to hook it up to your Anthropic account so that it can use your API keys. But today we're going to build a full application. Like I said, I haven't coded full time in 10 years, but I know code. I can still look at it. I can still understand what's going on. I just don't write it all day. Now, I know a lot of you are probably using newer languages like Node.js, or I don't want to say newer languages, but like the current language du jour, right? But I cut my teeth using Java. And so I want to put Claude Code to its test, writing a Java application from scratch. So let's get started. All right. So I'm going to open up my terminal here, and I'm going to make the font quite a bit larger so you can see it. All of this is going to be in real time. We'll see where we end up. And then I'll speed up some of the stuff during code generation. So let's just make a directory called vibe and go into that directory. And let's make a directory called running. Okay. So I started running this week, oddly enough. And so I thought it'd be cool just to create a little SaaS-based application for me to log my runs so I can keep all my data private. So let's go into the running directory and simply just type Claude, and that's going to connect me and ask me if I trust this folder. And I do. So let's give it our first prompt. This is a completely empty directory. Let's choose our technology stack. Let's do Spring Boot. We'll connect it to a database, and we'll look at it in VS Code as well. So let's just start. Hey, I want to, and I am typing this as I'm talking, so I'm sorry if my mechanical keyboard is getting some background noise. I want to create a new Spring Boot application that helps me log my running activities. I started running this week, and I want a way to log the miles that I have ran. The application should have responsive, that's what we used to call it. I don't know if people still call it that. A responsive web UI that looks modern, sleek, and very intuitive. I don't know if that's how you spell it. Very intuitive to use. The application should present the user with a calendar view of the current month and allow the user to click on a date on the calendar and log a run. When logging a run, the user should enter in the number of miles they ran, the shoes they used. If you're into running, you know that running shoes, you typically want to replace them every, 300-400 miles. So it's good to keep track of them. The shoes they used, the duration of the run, And what else do we want? The location of the run. Then let's see, we want to keep a log of the database and location. So we're going to need a database, or the location and the shoes. So we're going to need a database. The application should use a database to store all of the information. And what database should we use? Just for simplicity, let's use SQLite, just because it's a file on the file system. We don't have to worry about standing up MySQL or Postgres or something like that. The application should use a database, actually. Let me back up here. Should use a database to store all of the information about the run. And the database should be SQLite. The shoes and locations need to be tracked in the database, and the UI should allow the user to add new shoes and new locations. When logging a run, the user should be able to select the shoe and location via a drop down menu. The main page of the application should show the total number of miles ran this month. Okay. Let's see. What do we want to do here? It's been a while since I coded. I want to use Maven as the build system. So create all of the required files for that. However, let's say I have given you the basics, but I want you to be creative and make this look awesome and add additional features that you think would be good for a running application. All right, let's hit enter and see what happens. All right, so now I sent that prompt to Claude Code, and that's going to then send it to the Claude 3.7 language model, and then it's going to start doing stuff on my file system. We can see it already made a directory source main java.com run log. So it's going to create a model, a controller, a repository, a service, and a config. And it's going to ask me if I want to do that before it runs any commands. So yeah, let's YOLO. Let's just say do it and don't ask me again for any make dir commands. And so this should be creating all of these directories now. So let's pop open another terminal window, actually. And let's go into the Vibe directory. We have our running directory. We can see that it is building out stuff. So let's open up our VS Code editor, and we can take a look here as it's building stuff out, what it's actually doing. All right, so it's already created the skeleton here. Let's go back and see what it's doing now. It may be wanting me to do something. Yeah. Do you want me to create the POM file? Well, yes, I do. And YOLO, don't ask me again to create a POM file. Okay, so now it's actually creating the Java files, which is cool. We'll take a look at it in just a second. All right, let's go over and take a look at first Java file it created. That's good. Okay. VS Code picks it up. Yeah, all right. Public static void main, Spring application run. Okay, let's go back and see if it's waiting to do something. It's still thinking. 35 seconds. So I'm going to let this run as it builds out the skeleton of the application. Like I said, I'll probably fast forward this part, but then I'll tell you how long it took when it's finished. Okay, it's done. that took quite a while. I lost the counter is like 300 and something seconds. But it says it's created a complete Spring Boot application for tracking your running activities. Here's what I've built. Tells me what it is. Navigate, run this. Okay. So now I want to tell it I will compile and run the application myself. You should not try to do it for me. Okay. Just because I sometimes like it'll try to run stuff. And so I want to make sure that it doesn't do that and let me do it myself. So we now have our fully built out directory. Here's all of the code that it wrote. This is a typical old school model view controller framework, which is good because, hey, look, when you're vibe coding like this, it's important that you understand the code, right? And so it's meeting me where I'm at, which is a Java application developer that hasn't coded in a while, right? And so it's using patterns and technologies that are very familiar to me, like the model view controller. I think it was using Thymeleaf as the UI. But all of this looks really good. It created, I don't know what this repository is. It may just be, oh, it's the interface to pull the information back. It did some services for me. All good. All right, let's try to build this and see what happens. Let's do Maven clean package. Let's see what happens. Oh, it does not compile. All right, first build failure here. Failure. So let's just copy and paste this directly in. So I'm going to do this and I'm going to copy it and put it back and say, hey, dummy, you got a build failure here. So let me go over. I have a build failure with running Maven clean package. Here is the error. And then we'll let it fix the error for us. Cannot find symbols, so it's probably just a problem with import statements. Now, could I have fixed that myself? Yes, of course. But how long would it have taken me versus how long will it take this to fix the model classes for us? All right, so we'll let this process. It is setting everything for us. So it's going to make some changes to our code. And at the end of this, of course, the goal is to have a fully working application that you could even run maybe as a really rudimentary SaaS application, right? But just to spark your interest on what you can do with vibe coding and the new Claude models here. All right, so that took about 70 seconds. Says it fixed the problem. The problems with Lombok annotation usage. All right, good. Try running the build again, and the compilation error should now be fixed. Let's try it. Maven clean package. Nope. Problem again. So this is the problem also with vibe coding, right? It's a lot of trial and error, but it cannot find symbols. So it's the same thing. So let's copy this and tell it that it did not fix it. It is still failing to find symbols when running Maven clean package. Here is the error. All right, so, well, let's take a look at this. Symbol, set ID, variable location, cannot find symbol. So, all right, so it should fix it here. Okay, so it fixed the issue. As we can see, it ran a build itself until it figured out how to fix all of the errors with the pom.xml file. And so now it wants to run a Maven package for me, but I don't want it to do that. And I'll say from now on, I will run the build and the package command myself. So I'll tell it to do that. Again, since I had to let it run it itself to figure out all the issues. So now let's try it again. Let's do Maven clean package. And hopefully this time it is successful. Okay, so we have a build. Who knows what it built? That's the YOLO moment here. Let's run it and see what happens, see if anything even works. So let's do java-jar in our target directory, and we have this run log snapshot. So we'll run that. It's gonna start up the run log application on port 8080. So let's go over to localhost 8080 and see. Oh, I've misspelled localhost here. Localhost 8080. Okay, so we got an error, and let's copy and paste the error in. Here we go. Okay. Oh, and it's using Hibernate too. That's cool. So let me just copy this entire error. When running the application, actually, it's not when running the application. When trying to hit the index page of the application, I get the following error. Paste that in, and then it'll, as it's trying to fix that, let's scroll up and see if we can figure out what actually happened here. Let me get rid of this. And so this is, like I said, an important part of vibe coding is you need to understand at least enough to diagnose your own problems and to fix it yourself. And this is a problem with the Thyme Leaf templating engine, processing the template, the index template, class pass resource, an error happened during template parsing. So something's wrong with that template. So we'll let it fix it. All right. So it's already making some changes here. It's removing this line and adding this one. And it's going on and continuing to make some code changes here based on the errors that was presented. So it says the application should now load correctly. All right, let's Control C this, and we'll let Tomcat gracefully shut down here. And so once I hit Control C, it'll take a second for it to like clear up all the memory. Then we'll do a Maven clean package again. And then we'll run it again, java-jar target, and then the run log application. This should start up our Spring Boot application. And let's go back to our browser and reload the page, and we get another error. So let's paste this in. Welcome to the world of vibe coding. Error here. So another template error, same one. So it did obviously not fix it. So we'll copy it in and go back over here and say that did not solve the issue. I still get an error. Here's the error. All right. So while it's fixing our code, let's Control C our Tomcat, and then it's trying to resolve the issues here. Okay. It is done. So let's see if it works now. All right, let's do Maven, or let's just do Maven clean package again. And then it's still building, which is good. Let's run the application again. And the application is running. So let's refresh this page. And we still get the error. This is frustrating. What's going on? Template processing exception. Application context cannot be null. Application context cannot be null. So this should be a quick fix here. We'll just copy this over. I am now getting another error about the application context being null. Okay. Okay. Okay, I did it again. Now, let's see if it works this time. Now, I was just thinking as I was doing this, one of the things that you could probably do to get a better result with vibe coding than we're seeing right now is to start small and then iterate over your application and add feature after feature instead of trying to have it build the entire application all in one go. But it is what it is. Maven clean package. We already started, so we're going to get this working. And then Java dash jar and target and our run log application again. All right. The 100th time's the charm. Okay. YOLO, baby. Here it is, the application. So the vibe coding paid off. We probably spent, 10 minutes so far. But this looks really impressive, actually. So it's called Run Log. As a dashboard, has my run, shoes, and locations, just like I said, that I wanted it to have. It's giving me the total miles this month with some cute graphics here. Total runs, average distance, miles per run, and the calendar view is great. All right. Let's, and it has recent runs down at the bottom. So it did add some features. Let's start by adding a pair of shoes, see if that works. Okay, no shoes added yet. Look at this. This is amazing. So let's add some new shoes. This is amazing to me. Look at this. Like it's given examples of existing shoes, like the Nike Pegasus 38. Like this is amazing. Okay, so we'll do, I did run today. We'll do Cloud Runner, and the brand was On. I didn't know what the shoe name. Oh, that's the shoe name that I want to give it. So we'll just do Cloud Runners. Model is the Cloud. The color is black. Purchase date. That's important because you want to log the miles. And let's just say we started this with 20 miles on these shoots. And we have an active. I didn't ask it to do that, and it did it anyway. And I didn't even ask it to specify the brand and the model and the color and the purchase date and the current mileage. So it's smart enough to know that I probably want to log this. So let's save our shoes, and hopefully this works. Okay, perfect. We now have some shoes in here. Total miles 20s, it's active, and they're black. Okay, let's go to locations next to see if that works. Okay, very similar to shoes. It does work. No locations meant. Look at this iconography, however you say that. It's a pin from a map. Okay, so let's add a new location. And it gave me examples again, city park and the address and the terrain type. That is amazing because sometimes you want to track whether you're running on a trail, whether you're running on concrete or pavement. They have different impacts on your body. Location name. Today I ran on the treadmill home, and this is the Peloton Tread Plus. Hopefully it handles the plus. Terrain type is, we'll just say treadmill here. And this is going to be my favorite because I do most of my running on treadmill. Let's save and see if it works. Yes, we now have some shoes and a location here. Let's go back to our dashboard and let's add a run for today, April 10th. Let me click on that and see what happens. Okay, so that is cool. You notice it was intuitive enough to just let me click on it. I could also click on log a run, I guess. Yeah. Okay. So let's add a run today. The date. Okay. We have a calendar picker. It's going to default to today. Duration. This must be hours, minutes, and seconds. But I don't like that it doesn't tell me that. So we'll update it to do that. So let's say I ran for 30 minutes. Here's my shoes. Yes, it did pull down from the drop down. Distance, I ran 3 miles today. How did it feel? Look at this. I didn't ask it to do this either. This is amazing to me. It did feel great today. Location, I ran on my treadmill. Gives me some notes. Weather, I don't care about the weather because it was indoor. I'm going to click on Save Run. There we go. Can you believe this? That is amazing. It's logging my miles. I was able to log it. It's listing it down here. Oh, look at this. 9th of April. And this is 10th of April. Okay, so that's a bug. So let's fix that bug. And then there was something else I wanted to fix. What was it? Oh, when I log my run, I want it to display the hours, minutes, seconds. Okay, so let's go back to our vibe coding session. Let's kill our Tomcat server. You can see all of the database queries that it's making here. And I will say this is absolutely wonderful. Good job. I don't know why I do that when I'm talking to a large language model, but I like to reinforce it. A few minor issues that I want to point out. When logging a run and entering in the duration, let's make sure we do the duration. I would like for the UI to be a bit more intuitive and label the hours, minutes, and seconds. Also, I noticed a bug. When I logged a run for April 10th in the running list, is that what it was called? Let's double check what it was called. The recent runs. Recent runs, it shows April 9th, and the date is actually the 10th. Okay. Uh, in the recent runs section of the main page, it showed the run as being on April 9th. All right. So let's go off. We have a great foundation now, right? We started with big aspirations. We didn't start, like I said, with a small project. By creating a small project and then iteratively added features, I went with the big bang approach. I started with an empty directory and I said, create me a Spring Boot application. And it took us 5 to 6 tries, as you saw in this video, before we got a building application. And then once we got the application to build, it took a few tries to figure out some of the templating issues that it was having. But the result was phenomenal. So at the end of this video, when I exit Claude Code, it'll tell us how much money this cost. And then we can have a discussion about whether or not vibe coding is worth it. Because who knows, this may end up costing $20 billion to run. Probably not. It'll probably be sub $10, but we'll see. All right, so it's updating the CSS here. It looks like it's adding the hours, minutes, seconds for me, and then it'll probably tackle that bug next. All right, so it's done. Took 65 seconds, I think is what it said. And it tells you what it did, duration, field labels, and date display issues. So let's rebuild this application and run it again. Maven clean package should just take a second, and then let's run it. Okay, it's up and running. Let's now refresh the application. And what's cool to see is even though I'm running a new version of the application, this database is working. So it's persisting the data. And then down at the bottom, we had April 10th. Did it fix it? No, it did not. Okay, so let's log a run and see if it at least added the headers. It did. Hours, minutes, seconds. I like that a little bit better. Let's add another run. I ran 3 miles yesterday as well. So let me do that, and we'll just say 30 minutes here, and the distance was 3 miles, and the shoes was treadmill. Okay, save run. All right. So will this show 8th and 9th? It does. Okay. So let's go back, tell it to fix its problems. So I'll Control C and to get out of Tomcat, and I will say the date display issue is still not fixed. Can you try again? Okay. And you know what else I just thought of that was kind of irksome that we should fix next is if I come back to this application, it's not running because I just killed Tomcat. But when I clicked on the date, like April 9th, it popped me to that new page to add the run, but it made me put the date in again for some reason. So we'll fix that next after it gets this one working. Let's see if it's done. Nope, still going 37 seconds. We can see here that it is working on the dates and it's done. Configuration changes, template improvements, controller logic, and enhance the date display. All right. Maven clean package again. I always do Maven clean package. I don't know why. It's just old habits. Okay, let's refresh this. Everything's still persisting. Oh, look at this. It does bounce it when you highlight them. That's a cool little feature. All right, now we should see 9th and 10th, and we still don't. Okay, so that is driving me insane. So let's try it one more time, but while I'm here, I wanted to show you that thing I wanted to add. So if I click on the 11th, oh, it did fix it on that. Maybe I was unclear. Yeah, that's working now. So it fixed that issue, but it didn't fix the recent runs issue. Okay, so let's try this again. We'll kill Tomcat and go over here. Looking better. However, the recent runs is behind by a day. For example, if I log a run on April 10th, it shows in the recent runs section as April 9th. It does show correctly on the calendar, but not in the recent runs section. Okay. So we'll let it go off and fix this. Did I kill Tomcat? I did. Okay, good. So it's looking at the SQLite config. It's thinking that it's a problem with the database. I might look at the code in a second if it can't figure this out. What's it doing here? It's doing the JPA stuff. Yeah. So it's changing the JPA config and it's changing the. I wish I could click on this, but oh well. It's thinking that's a problem with the date type. So explicitly tell it to store it as date only. I wonder if it was storing it. I don't know how it's storing. I probably should have looked at the code. Okay, that's done. Let's try this one more time. Maven clean package and run our application. All right, let's refresh this page. Refreshed, okay. And it is still wrong. Why? I'm going to give it one more chance before we dive into the code. Let's look at my runs and see if, oh, so my runs has an error. We'll get to that next as well. But let's get this running or working. That's the other error. That's fine. We'll fix that in a second. It still isn't working as desired. The day is still one day behind when looking at the recent runs on the dashboard page. Well, it could be a time zone issue actually, but no, it's all local on my system, it's all local system. Unless it's storing it in the database is a different time, but then my browser has a different time as well because it is 7:30 at night. So who knows? Maybe it's using GTC time or something in the database instead. But I don't know. I don't want to get into it. That's the whole point of Vibe Code is let it figure it out. All right. Package it up. Run the application. Refresh. 9th and 10th. Oh, wait. But now the dates are ahead. Okay. Try this again here. There is still, let's see. Actually, maybe because it was updating how the database was storing files. If I delete this, can I delete it? No. I bet that's the issue. Let's forget about this issue right now. Let's come to my runs and fix this issue. And I'll explain why I'm doing that in a second. Let me get a fresh error here. Oh, I killed Tomcat. That's why it wasn't working. Let's start up Tomcat again. Okay. Okay, let's refresh this page. We have 10th and 11th. What I want to do is delete this run. Okay. So that allows me to add a new run, but not delete in my run. So we need to fix this my runs real quick. Okay, here's the error message we got. Copy, paste. And this was what? The my runs at the top. Okay. When clicking on my runs at the top of the page, I get the following error and the logs, and the page doesn't load. All right, well, let's fix that. Let's kill our Tomcat. The reason I'm doing it this way is because I think maybe those initial, because I did a lot of work to change how dates were stored in the database, but I already had 2 entries in the database. And so I'm just thinking maybe if I delete those runs and re-add them, that it may magically start working based on how it was storing the date formats previously. Just a hunch. I give it a 5 to 10% chance of being the problem. We'll see though. Maiden Queen package. And let's run the application. And then let's refresh this. Okay, the dates are still wrong, but let's see if we can click on my runs. We can. Okay, so it fixed the problem with that. What was the problem? Did it tell us? It was a thyme leaf error. Calculated aggregates to pre-calculate all statistics. So it was a thyme leaf, or is that how you say it? Time leaf? I don't know. Replaced all uses with this. So it was a problem with the template. Okay. So let's see if we can delete a run. It may not let us actually. Yeah, okay. So we can delete a run. All right. So let's go back to our dashboard. Let's add a new run for today. Notice the date is passing over now, so I fixed that issue by itself. We ran 3 miles and it was 30 minutes. I felt great. My shoes were this. My location was this. Save run. The 10th and the 9th. Okay, so it still didn't fix it. I thought it might have, but I gave it a low probability. Actually, before this shuts down, can I catch it? I want to look at this. I missed it. I wanted to see on the my runs what it showed because maybe it's a bug in the calendar. Let me just run this application again and narrow this down a bit more before I prompt it. So let's click here. Recent runs is April 9th. If I look at my runs, it says April 10th. So it's correct here. Oh, statistics. That's awesome. I never noticed that. Okay. So in the my running history under my runs, it's correct. On the calendar, it's correct. It's just in recent runs. And if I click view all, it's going to take me over here, but it's really just in recent runs. Is this text or is it an image? Must be, it's got to be text. Okay. So my runs, it's correct. Recent runs, it's wrong. Let's tell it that. Kill the podcast. I narrowed the bug of displaying the date wrong down a bit. Okay, so I switched to a different problem. Now we're coming back to this one, so I'm going to re-explain it a little bit. When I log a run on the calendar, the date shows correctly for the run on the calendar and under the My Runs page. However, the date is wrong on the recent runs section at the bottom of the dashboard. We'll give an example. For example, if I log a run on April 10th, it shows up correctly as April 10 on both the calendar and the what we call My Runs page. However, in the recent runs, it shows as April 9. Please fix this so the recent runs section of the dashboard match the same date for a run as the calendar and the My Runs page. So hopefully that's enough prompting to where it can understand where the problem is just in that recent run section, because it obviously knows how to do it, right? Because it's correct on the what it was called, the My Runs section at the top. I also don't like how the day or the week starts on Monday. It should start on Sunday. So we'll fix that as well before we call this a completed application. After we get this tricky bug fixed. Okay, so it thinks it's fixed it, but we'll see. It thought it fixed it, many times before. Let's run this. Refresh. April 10th, my runs, April 10th, down at the bottom, April 9th. Still did not fix it. That still did not fix it. All right, we'll give this one more time just because I don't want this video to get so long. But we'll add another feature before we completely stop coding tonight. But I'm hopeful that this will fix it. We'll see. But I am going to get this working eventually. Okay. Target fix your experience without any compile. Direct template correction, use consistent variable names, simplified the approach. That's always good. You see that. Okay. So maybe clean package. Run the application. Okay. Refresh. And it still didn't fix it. And I'm going to give this one more shot. Because my runs is correct. And recent runs, and if I click on this, if I edit it, it's correct. So let me look at the source here. Actually, how do you look at source on the Mac? Save it. View source. I want to look at I want to see. Actually, let's go over here. Let's look at our code. Where's our resources, templates? It's probably in the index. And what we call recent runs. Run list container. No runs logged yet. This yeah. Let's go to next. Recent runs goes to slash runs. Okay. Slash runs. This is the template that it's filling. Date, distance. Well, this is the run list. All right, let's just give it one more chance here. The error is still there. The recent runs shows April 9th for a run logged on April 10th, even though the date is correct and displaying correctly on both the calendar and the My Runs page. While you are fixing this issue, can you also change the calendar to start the week on Sunday instead of Monday? So that starting the day of the week wrong was driving me crazy, so I just wanted to get that fixed Monday. So we'll see what happens here. All right, so it did just fix the day of the week there, so that's good. Now it's going to move on to trying to fix, if it didn't already, the date problem. Hopefully it's smart enough to do two things at once here. Sunday is the first. Did I say day of the week or day of the month in my prompt? You can also start the week on Sunday. Okay, good. I just hit the up arrow to look at my prompt. You can always, go up and look at your previous prompt. Yeah, okay. The calendar now starts on Sunday. All right. Let's refresh. All right. So look, I did fix the calendar bug issue. So Sunday, Saturday. This shows April 10th. This shows April 11th. So it messed it up again. This shows April 10th. So it is just the calendar view. Okay. So let's try one more. Let's try adding it on the 8th here. 30, let's say 45 minutes, and we ran 4.5 miles just to make sure it can handle floating point numbers, save our run. And so it is displaying on the calendar wrong. So we got some serious data issues that I'm going to have to dive into here. But I'm going to wrap it up at this point. That was pretty amazing. Look at all we've accomplished. Now I have that weird date issue that I need to fix. But I might have to dive into the code myself. I don't want to do that though. I'm going to give it one more chance. I'm going to say this is your last chance. The dates are still messed up between the calendar, the my runs, and the recent runs. Can you try one last time to ensure consistency in how the date of the run is displayed so a single run is always listed with the same date across the calendar, my runs, and recent runs. All right, I'm gonna let that run, and I'm gonna run and grab a soda. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back, and it's done. Data transfer object to pre-compute. Okay, updated all controllers, updated all simplified JavaScript code. This is a robust systematic solution at their source rather than applying band-aid fixes. Well, why didn't you do that in the first cut? Let's see if this actually fixes it. I have 1% faith that this will actually work. I think it's a problem I'm going to have to fix myself. But let's see. Refresh. Okay, so we have an 8th and a 10th. We have an 8th and a 10th there, so that's good. My runs, 8th and a 10th. This looks good. Let's delete our runs and recreate them and see if it still works. April 10th, we ran 3 miles on treadmill with our shoes, save run. April 10th, and April 10th. Now we're cooking. That's vibe coding, fellas. All right. There, fellas and girls, I guess. We ran yesterday as well. 3 miles, and that was also 30 minutes, and same shoes, same treadmill. 9th and 10th, 9th and 10th, 9th and 10th. Let's look at our statistics here. Most used shoes is loading. Oh man, this is so much fun. I don't want to stop. I actually want this to start working, and I want it to calculate my average pace. But first, let me think it. Thank you. It is working perfectly now. All right, but I don't want to stop. That's the problem. I just want to keep going and building new stuff in. So this is good. What was I looking at? I wanted to calculate. So it did calculate my pace here. Okay. But if I go to the statistics, your top stats, most used shoes loading. Okay. Your top stats on the statistics page. One more thing I want to fix. when looking at the statistics page, it just says now loading for what was it? Most used shoes, favorite location, and best pace. For most used shoe, favorite location, and best pace. Can you modify the code for that section so it actually shows the values instead of saying just load? Am I still running the service? I am. Okay, so let's go back here. So yeah, it is not actually loading log run. Yeah, so that still works. All runs, dashboards, shoes. It's got my total miles on here. That's working. The date purchased is working. Location. I show total locations here or total miles here as well. Let's go back here. Kill our Tomcat. Did this get finished yet? No, it's only been going 34 seconds. This is so much fun though. Like, this is amazing. Like, if you're a 10x engineer already, can you imagine like the value this would bring you for such little cost? Man, this stuff is absolutely amazing. Ooh, it's deleting a lot of stuff. No JavaScript needed for statistic calculations anymore. It's done on the server. Look at this. Use promise. So this looks very promising, actually. Let's run it and see. We're at a point to where I think we're getting really close to calling this a completed application. 9th and 10th, the dates are still right. My runs, let's look at statistics. Boom. Look at that. Most used shoe is on Cloud Runner. It even tells me how many runs. Treadmill, 2 runs. Amazing. Okay, we're almost done. There was something else that I just said that I wanted to do, and I forget what it was. Oh, no, shoe shows location. Location. I want to know total miles for the location. That's what I want to do. And then we're going to call this complete today. You kill this. What page was it? My running location. I gotta edit that out because that was my work email that I flashed up for a second. Let's kill this. Go over when. This is awesome. We are making great progress. However, feature creep always happens, and I have a new request. When looking at, let's see here, what was this? My running locations. My running locations. I want each location to show the total number of miles ran for that location. I was looking at the locations page. Is this the locations? Yeah, it is the locations page. Okay, good. Looking at the location service, it's reading it. So it's building up this context. So Claude 3.7 with API has a 200K context. And you can see that it's filling up this context down here in the right until it's going to auto compact it. So that may have been an issue with the date, actually, because I noticed that it was auto compacting the context. But that date was just a problem with the way it was calculating it. Because when it said it created that robust solution, it fixed it. I don't know why it didn't do that the first time. Maybe it's a problem with my prompting. Total runs, okay. So it's probably going to give us the total runs and the total miles. Let's see what it did here. Created location, enhanced the run repository, updated, modified, enhance the UI, added visually appealing statistics section for each location, used appropriate icons. Great. This is going to be exciting. All right. Let's go back to the home page. 6 miles, average distance. All this is still looking good. My runs is still looking good. Shoes is looking good. Locations. There we go. Look at that. Treadmill home. 6 miles. I'm going to call this application done. It's locked. It's ready. Now, obviously, we don't have authentication or anything like that, so we'd have to continue prompting for that. But since this is just going to be for my personal use, and I am actually going to use this because I want a really simple solution here, and this is absolutely perfect for my needs. So let me go back here, kill Tomcat. Now, the $1,000,000 question is, how much did this application cost to create? We started from a completely empty directory and let Claude Code build out the entire thing for us. Probably could have done it differently by going to start.spring.io and started with a skeleton, but I wanted just to see this. So to exit, we simply do exit, and it'll tell us how much this cost. All of that, we spent an hour and 12 minutes, and it cost us $8.51. That may seem like a lot to you, but to me, that seems like very little. The amount of time it would have taken me to code this application with all of these icons, all of the features, database, perfectly working how I wanted it for a minimal viable product for $8.51. Are you kidding me? That's awesome. This is going to be the future of software development. Now, let me pontificate for a second here, because this is probably one of the most exciting things I've seen in many years. That's why I work on AI on a daily basis. But you can't use it to completely replace your coding ability, right? I did today with my vibe coding session. I never even really looked at the code here, right? But I know enough about code and Java, even though it's been 10 years, that I was ready to dive in and just fix that date issue. I know that I could have done it. It would have probably taken me an hour or two to like really track it down and figure it out. So it is a super useful tool to help existing software engineers. Look at all of this stuff it created. And of course, it uses some of the stuff that I asked it to, like data transfer objects and things like that, that may not be applicable to you in your coding environment, or, maybe you're up on the latest, greatest, whatever, but this is perfect for what I was trying to accomplish. And it looks absolutely beautiful in my mind. So anyway, that's it. That's all I wanted to show. Today is a true vibe coding session to get from absolutely nothing to a fully running SaaS-based application that I can self-host and log all of my runs. In the future, I'm going to keep using this application, like I said, but I'm going to add some like export features and some other stuff as I keep going on it, because, hey, $8.51. All right. So I'm going to keep vibe coding this. It's been a great hour and 12 minutes total time that we were in the prompt to build this application. An hour and 12 minutes to build an entire application. It started off rough, I know. You can't build this yourself in an hour and 12 minutes, like coding all this stuff. That's absolutely mind blowing to me, how efficient and effective this was, even with the rough start. Once we got that initial compile going, we were off to the races, and then we ran another hiccup with the date. But all in all, for an hour and 12 minutes and $8.51, boom, Bob's your uncle. All right. Thanks everybody for watching. I'll see you later.